second time now, a brave young man took the stand to testify against his own father and stepmother. We've been following the Charlie Bothuell case for nearly a year now. You'll remember the 12-year-old went missing for 11 days last summer, only to be found in his father's basement. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig, she's been following the story every step of the way. She joins us now with more on today's testimony. Kim.
And Glenda, the defense is suggesting that young Charlie chose to hide from everyone. But young Charlie says it was fear that kept him quiet, but he wanted to be found.
Hopeful that they would look a bit further and actually move stuff around and look harder.
Why?
Well, because I wanted to let them find me.
Young Charlie Bothuell on the stand again today, talking about hearing police in the basement looking for him. But he says he was too scared to let them know where he was because his stepmother had told him to be quiet.
She would tell me basically just to be quiet and not to say anything. Or sometimes it would just be bring me something to eat.
Charlie, now 13 years old, on the stand again today, testifying for prosecutors who have charged his father and stepmother with child abuse and torture. And back in June, when Charlie was 12, he says his stepmother is the one who made a spot for him in the basement of their condo behind some boxes and a barrel, and told him to stay there and not come out no matter what. He then says she called his dad and said that she didn't know where Charlie was and couldn't find him.
I have been threatened to be killed before.
By who?
Monique.
Young Charlie says his stepmother, Monique Dillard Bothuell, told him she could do anything to him and no one would know or even care. But the 13-year-old says it was his father who hit him with the PVC pipe.
My dad had, it was a PVC pipe, and he had drove it into my chest and twisted it, and then cut some of the skin off.
Why didn't you go to a friend's place? Walk out and go to a friend?
One, I didn't have any friends, and two, I was just afraid to leave the house.
During cross-examination, his mother's defense attorney questioned whether the real issue was that young Charlie just didn't like school and following his father's rules.
You had some behavioral problems at school too, didn't you?
Yes.
You had gotten into some fights, right?
Yes.
And you had been lying to the teachers, right?
Yes.
And a defense attorney for young Charlie's dad, Charlie Bothuell IV, will cross-examine him next when the preliminary examination continues in 2 weeks. And Action News will be there. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.